Hey everyone, this is Alex. Welcome to the Tiger Talk podcast. We have a lot to get into. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the hiring of Lane Kiffin and the domino effect moving forward. There's a lot to talk about. I'm excited. It's a great day to be a Tiger. Let's get into it. All right, everyone. This is Alex. Welcome to the Tiger Talk podcast. And what the past 48 to 72 hours has it been? Absolutely unbelievable with LSU hiring Lane Kiffin from Ole Miss. And let me tell you, you can follow me on X. I still call it Twitter. I was absolutely wrong. I was wrong. I really thought Lane Kiffin was going to stay in Oxford. When it came down to the Iron Bowl, I never rooted for Alabama so hard, and I never will again in my life. And I really thought Auburn was going to win it there, kind of sweating bullets. But I didn't believe Lane Kiffin was going to leave Ole Miss to come to LSU. And yes, LSU is the most prestige job, in my personal opinion, the best job in America for the facilities, the fan base, the tradition, etc. Of course, I also feel like I'm massively biased because I've been an LSU fan my whole life, raised in Louisiana my whole life, been going to LSU football games literally my whole life. And I grew up on the Bayou. I grew up on LSU, going to Baton Rouge in the falls with my dad. And I know how special of a place it is. I know the tradition. I know the quote-unquote, the aura. I mean, my favorite part going down to Baton Rouge on campus is the oak trees. The beauty, physical beauty of the campus, and then, of course, the people, the fan base is truly like no other. I've been in Tiger Stadium, Death Valley at night when it was rocking. I've been in Tiger Stadium during an 11 o'clock game and it was still rocking. It's called the Cathedral of College Football for a reason. I also been to Alex Box Stadium at night when it was rocking, and I also been at Alex Box, during a 3 o'clock afternoon game, and it was also rocking. So every aspect of sports at LSU is special, especially football, and they call it the Cathedral of College Football for a reason. But guys, let me just tell you, I was 100% wrong. I did not think Lane was going to leave Ole Miss to come to LSU based specifically on the calendar type year, just on how it fell. I felt like he was going to stay at Ole Miss. I thought Ole Miss was going to give him an extension as days and etc. passed, and that didn't really happen, which surprised me. Then I was like, okay, my attention kind of went towards LSU, and then you had a lot of confidence within the LSU media and fan base, and to me personally, that even made me more nervous. And I just thought Lane was going to either sign an extension with Ole Miss or coach in the playoffs. I thought they were going to go deep in the playoffs. Ole Miss, I didn't think they were going to win a championship game, and I thought he would make a decision afterwards. But, obviously, hindsight's 2020. And then after that LSU-Oklahoma game, when, in fact, LSU should have won that game, but I digress. And the reports came out that LSU was sending private jets to pick up Lane Kiffin. I knew it was a done deal. And what a massive turn of events. Lane Kiffin was my number one guy. Second would probably have been either like a Dan Lanning, Kenny Dillingham, but Lane was my number one guy. So I was wrong. I want to say that I was wrong, and I'm not afraid to admit that I was wrong. You can go back on my socials. I posted that I was wrong. I'm not one of those people that just jump on the bandwagon and delete tweets and etc. No, I was 100% wrong, but you know what? I've never been more excited to be wrong in my life. So I want to kind of backtrack to how everything happened for when LSU let go of Brian Kelly, and then just kind of the debacle in that, and just the disarray in leadership and etc., and then the things that the governor said, and on all these massive national media outlets. It was a mess. And then you had Verge Osbury come, and then the board of supervisors, the head of the board of supervisors, and then Wade came into the new president of LSU, and they all got on the same page, which is massive. And Verge Osbury sat there, and he said he is going after the best head coach in the country for LSU football. And boy, did Verge deliver. Someone said on social media, and I retweeted it, they said basically Verge was the bottom of the ninth at bat, 2 strikes, and he hit a grand slam to win the game. Absolutely. And massive props to Verge Osbury. Massive props to the board of supervisors, the head of the board of supervisors, Wade Roos, the president of LSU. And guys, I will never get political on this podcast because I can care less if you vote for Democrat, Republican, Independent. I can care less. Keep politics out of my sports. And that's the way I like it. But I will say this: love him, hate him, disagree with him, I don't care. But the governor, Jeff Landry, did, whether people like it or not, have a massive, I won't say pull, but a massive card on this table. And Lane Kiffin said so also in his introductory press conference. He said what grabbed his attention was when Verge Osbury called him and said, hey, Lane, we're going to get out of your way. We want you to coach. I'm totally paraphrasing. But whatever you need us to do, whatever LSU needs us to do to get you, we want you, and we're going to get out of your way. I love that. Lane loved that. And then on top of that, Lane said, even to receive a brief phone call from the governor saying that, what, we support you, we want you. Guys, we can get so in our fishbowl in Louisiana and Louisiana politics and etc. But I truly think it's a massive positive statement when you have a guy who is so visibly torn about leaving Ole Miss, what he has built at Ole Miss, because he truly cares for the players. And yes, I know what the players are saying, Ole Miss players are saying on social media and bashing Lane, but I would like to see if those Ole Miss players are saying that same tune after the playoffs and if they hit the transfer portal and come to LSU. So I digress. But I will say this: we can get so in our fishbowl with Louisiana politics, but and forget the trees and etc. that we're looking at through the lenses of Louisiana politics. But to Lane Kiffin, when he has the governor of the state behind him and that university, Louisiana State University, it is a state school. Guys, whether you like it or not, whether you love Jeff Landry or hate the man, that really weighed heavy on Lane's mind for a positive. So you can say what you want about that, but I have to give credit where credit's due regarding Governor Jeff Landry. Second, I want to say is the fact for Nick Saban and Pete Carroll. Lane said, he is going to, outside of his dad, unfortunately, obviously his dad passed, but he was going to go to the 2 men that he wanted to confide in the most, and that was Nick Saban and Pete Carroll. Guys, Pete Carroll has nothing to do with LSU, has never coached for LSU or anything within that realm. Pete Carroll said, you need to take the LSU job. It's the best job in the country. And of course, Nick Saban has said the same thing. And what a way for things to kind of come full circle for Nick Saban regarding LSU, because Nick Saban said it himself when he was inducted into the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. His biggest regret was leaving LSU. And no, you cannot go back in the past, but I really think, Nick Saban, who is the GOAT, one of the best head coaches that I have seen in my lifetime, to get Lane Kiffin on the phone and said, you need to take the LSU job. That is huge. And then let's fast forward to when, massive power move on LSU, and I guess the boosters sending 2 private jets to go pick up Lane, bring him back. And Lane said it himself in that introductory press conference that it was, of course he's human too, guys. And I think we got to see such a human side of Lane Kiffin in that press conference, and everyone's like, well, Lane's a troll and etc. Yes, he has those sides of him, but he's also human. I saw a man who was truly torn because he wanted to finish coaching at Ole Miss and then come to LSU. And guys, I don't care who you are. In any professional realm that you have, if you had a job opportunity that offered a much more better opportunity than where you are now, not just a massive financial gain, but everything you wanted as a quote-unquote as your dream job in your own profession, you would take it. So don't sit there, especially national media members, sit there and criticize Lane Kiffin, because they would do the exact same thing too. And there's people in the national media that has left smaller independent journalisms and etc., smaller media companies to make big massive moves to ESPN and etc. And no, I'm not talking about T-Bob Hebert, because he did not burn any bridges, so I'm not talking about him. But T-Bob did leave ESPN Baton Rouge to go take a better opportunity. And I don't blame him for that. I do not blame him for that. You are asinine if in your job profession you get the most elite job. You are crazy if, Baton Rouge is calling you and you push the ignore button. And at the end of the day, in my personal opinion, I think Ole Miss completely mishandled this. They don't want to admit that right now. They're mad, they're butthurt, and etc. And you know what? If I was on the flip side of things, yes, I would be too, because I was in that situation when Nick Saban left LSU to go to the Miami Dolphins, and then just not on top of that, left the Miami Dolphins to go to Alabama. That hurt. But you gotta build a bridge and get over it. And you could see in Lane's introductory press conference that he was a torn man. He cared about his players at Ole Miss. And again, I would allude to the fact you have all these Ole Miss players coming out now saying, Lane never spoke to us face-to-face, he's a coward, etc. Number one, he couldn't. Number two, he couldn't because Ole Miss was handling it as being petty. Number three, I would love those same players to sing that same tune after the playoffs. I would like to see if they hit the transfer portal and not come to Baton Rouge. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. Lane Kiffin did in a professional realm to take the best job in the country. And you are foolish not to want promotion in your own realm. LSU and Ole Miss facility-wise, the tradition, etc., it doesn't compare. It's non-comparable. You are at the most elite level if you want to be a head coach for LSU football. Period. And all of those national media members accusing Lane Kiffin in the media, well, why don't you sing that same tune to John Summerall? Because he just got hired by the Florida Gators, which I hate Florida, but you know what? I love John Summerall, and massive respect to him for landing that job. He's going back to Tulane to coach in the bowl game. So come on, it can't be a double standard. But back to the press conference. Lane Kiffin said when he landed in Baton Rouge, him and his family, on that tarmac, he saw Verge Osbury, he saw Wade Roos, he saw the Board of Supervisors, he saw the fans, he saw a collective, all on one page standard, and he was relieved. And then driving past Tiger Stadium with Tiger Stadium being lit up, he said, oh yes, I absolutely made the right decision. Guys, I don't know what more you want to say to that. And I'm going to do an episode tomorrow on signing day because what a day it has been. But absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely a home run hire. I believe it's a massive development in college football. And you know what? It is different. The fan base. I mean, from the moment that it was official that Lane Kiffin is going to come to coach to LSU, I know friends who are trying to get season passes. I know NIL is going to skyrocket. And yes, I think LSU fans, nothing's going to be perfect next year. I do not think we're going to go undefeated. I do believe Lane's going to win national championships at LSU, but my mind's not there for next year. I just want to make it to the playoffs. I just want LSU to host a playoff game and go from there. But I absolutely agree with Lane Kiffin and him being hired. Massive shout out to Verge and the Board of Supervisors, even the governor, everybody freaking getting their crap together, coming on the same page, putting their cojones on the table, going all in, not backing down, and having the freaking LSU standard. Go Tigers, baby. I mean, I'm just, wow, I'm shocked. And it's amazing to see what unity can do. It's amazing to see when you put egos aside and etc. and what unity can do. And I truly believe you're going to know more in the days, weeks, or maybe even months ahead. That is not insider information. Guys, I don't have inside information. I don't have quote-unquote sources. But when I do, I will tell you. This is truly just my point of view from a fan's perspective. Yes, I know it's National Signing Day here on December 3rd, and it's kind of up in the air if Blake Baker, does he go to Tulane, which I believe he will, and I believe the Memphis job that comes into play is more dangerous than Tulane. But I digress. I'm going to talk all about that tomorrow on another episode regarding signing day and et cetera, et cetera. And I know there's LSU fans that want them to keep Frank Wilson and want them to keep Corey Raymond and et cetera. And I do too. And at the end of the day, though, you cannot get mad at LSU hiring Lane Kiffin and then get mad at Lane Kiffin for being Lane Kiffin and calling his own shots. Because he has the keys to the Ferrari. And you know what? I've said it on my social media post. And Lane, I trust with the salute emoji. I trust Lane Kiffin. I trust who he's going to bring on staff. I trust it. So a massive development that honestly, once it was official, sent shockwaves, not just to the SEC, but guys truly put the rest of college football on notice. LSU's back, baby. LSU has successfully lured one of the nation's most dynamic and innovative offensive mind in Lane Kiffin. That's just my personal opinion. Elite offensive prowess. Kiffin is widely considered one of the top offensive strategists in college football. At Ole Miss, he consistently fielded one of the SEC's most explosive, high-tempo offensives, known for adapting and maximizing his personal talent. This is seen as a perfect fit for a program like LSU that frequently has elite playmakers. Proven SEC success. Kiffin spent 6 seasons at Ole Miss, leading the Rebels to multiple 10-win seasons and an impressive 11-1 regular season mark in his final year. best job in America. Kiffin stated that the opportunity to coach at LSU, citing history, tradition, resources, and the quality of players in the state of Louisiana, made it the best job in football, and one he couldn't pass up, despite having a virtual college football playoff lock at Ole Miss. Also, guys, the massive financial commitment. The move was secured with an unprecedented financial package. Reports indicate LSU offered Kiffin a lucrative multi-year deal, potentially $13 million annually, and critically pledged ample financial backing from the program's NIL efforts, which was the key factor in the decision. Don't let anyone tell you different when it came to NIL. Okay, personal side note here. I never want to hear in the national media, local media, or fans, especially LSU fans, saying that Louisiana's broke. No, because Verge Osbury and etc., they put everything, all their chips on the table, especially in the NIL realm, and shout out to massive boosters and everyone that has a part to play. And I can tell you, my donations are going to go up to Bayou Traditions. NIL package for Lane Kiffin was one of the main things, and he's also alluded that in his press conference. Endorsements from mentors. The decision was endorsed by major figures in his career, including Nick Saban and Pete Carroll, and I can't stress that enough. Immediate impact. Kiffin hit the ground running, immediately securing commits and assembling his staff. His first priorities included staffing. He is bringing key assistants from Ole Miss, including his offensive coordinator, and has made significant hires like an offensive line coach known for his strong running game and history. Recruiting. Kiffin's presence immediately helped LSU stabilize and land high-priority recruits, including a highly rated defensive tackle during the high-pressure early signing period. The hiring signifies LSU's absolute commitment to returning to the elite status of the program and promises an incredibly high-powered, exciting style of football back in Baton Rouge. And, guys, I'm truly excited. You have your offensive and on-field hires, offensive coordinators, Charles Weiss Jr., he is the key play caller and offensive mastermind who has been with Kiffin for years, dating back to his time at Florida Atlantic. And, guys, everyone wants to get mad at Lane Kiffin for taking the LSU job and saying that he abandoned his players. Well, what do you have to say to Charles Weiss Jr., who Ole Miss said can come back and coach during the bowl game? Make it make sense. Joe Cox for the coordinator and tight ends coach. A young, respected young coach who has worked with high-level talent at Alabama and Ole Miss. Wide receivers coach, George McDonald, known for developing talented pass catchers in Kiffin's system. Offensive line coach, Eric Wolford, a veteran SEC coach with NFL experience. Wolford was hired from outside Ole Miss and brings stability and a strong track record of developing running blockers and known need for LSU. Quarterbacks coach, Dane Stevens. He's a senior analyst. Stevens was a key analyst for the Ole Miss passing game and is being elevated to an on-field coaching role at LSU. And I do believe there's more stuff to come. Strength, recruiting, and supporting staff with a name like Nick Savage for the head strength and conditioning coach. Savage is a critical hire as he has experience in the SEC with Ole Miss and Florida. He is tasked with transforming the team's conditioning program. I'm really excited because I truly believe outside of the head coaching position, your second most important head coaching position is the strength and conditioning coach. General manager Billy Glasscock. As of today, the writing was kind of on the wall. Austin Thomas is leaving, and Billy Glasscock will take over. Listen, I love Austin Thomas. I really do, especially how he raised funds. But I do also feel like Austin Thomas missed some things. In my personal opinion, I hate to see Austin Thomas go, but I go back in Lane. I trust, and I just trust that he wants his general manager, Billy Glasscock, a crucial executive role overseeing football operations and strategy with a focus on player personnel and recruiting efforts. I think that is very huge, and depending what Billy Glasscock does in the days, months, years ahead, it I'm really, I'm really excited, and there's much more and etc. to, um, you know, as far as coaching staff. There is not an official announcement yet. Is Blake Baker going to stay at LSU, or is he going to take either the Tulane job or the Memphis job? And listen, the LSU fan in me, I want Blake Baker to come back. He's just so elite. I do. But you know what? I also have to step back and take off the purple and gold rose-colored glasses and say, you know what? I can never discredit, I can never criticize, I can never hate a man or a woman who has an opportunity to pursue a higher position in their professional realm. And I think it's very clear that Blake Baker, he's such an elite coach, guys, that he wants to be a head coach. And teams like Memphis, teams like Tulane are massive launching pads to coach in the SEC. Just look at example John Summerall. Now, moving forward from that, I hope Blake Baker stays, win a national championship with LSU, and then I think you got your other big schools, possibly like a Penn State or whatever, come calling. Who knows? But the LSU fan in me does not want Blake Baker to leave. And the professional in me, wants completely understands and wants Blake Baker to have a higher level of a promotion in his professional life. Guys, I was talking to my dad on the phone. We actually had like a 3-hour conversation, and one of these days I'm going to have him jump here on the pod. He was an equipment manager from LSU from 1985 to 1988. And the stories he has, the things that he's seen on that sideline, man, my dad is so pumped. And we were just talking about going down to Baton Rouge game 1 against Clemson, and Dabo Swinney actually playing in the real Death Valley. And I will say this is just a prediction. That game better be at night, and number 2, College Game Day better be there, because it's going to be pandemonium. And, man, I'm just so excited as an LSU fan. You're going to have campus rocking again. This past year I went to tailgating and etc. for the LSU Florida game, and campus was kind of mid. It really was. And, man, but the excitement towards this higher, having that fan base back, game day's going to be rocking. Man, I'm just so excited. I'm just so excited. I really am. I'm shocked. I'm floored. It kind of feels like I'm living a fever dream when I see Lane Kiffin in that purple and gold. Number one, Lane Kiffin looks absolutely amazing in purple and gold. And also, Juice Kiffin, the Labrador Retriever, he is making his way to Baton Rouge. So who says cats and dogs can't be best of friends? You got Mike the Tiger and Juice Kiffin will be in Baton Rouge, and that will be a sight to see. But absolutely unbelievable. Again, I was completely wrong. Thought Lane Kiffin was gonna stay at Ole Miss, or Ole Miss hand him a contract extension. But you know what? Lane Kiffin said it best. Everything happens for a reason. And I am so excited to see. I literally said this is a new era of college football. This is a new golden era of college football. And I think the reason why, in my personal opinion, media, national media, Ole Miss media, etc., have so much hate for Lane Kiffin that, whether you embrace it or not, I'm fully embracing it. LSU being the villain role in all of this is because the notice that was made, the shockwaves that were made, when LSU made the statement, we hired Lane Kiffin, we got Lane Kiffin, we closed on the deal, and LSU's going to be back to being a powerhouse and a juggernaut. I can't wait, guys. I said it. It's a great day to be a Tiger. I'm just super excited. Guys, I also want to say all my links will be in the description below. I'm on YouTube. I'm wherever you can get podcasts. Please hit that like and share button, subscribe, send to your friends. I'm just a Louisiana girl. I'm an LSU fan just like you, and I'm just reporting from the things from my perspective. And wow, is it a great day to be a Tiger. Second of all, I'm also going to have the links there in my bios also. I released a clothing line called SEC 316. And what is that? That combines two of my favorite passions. Number one, my love of Jesus Christ and the verse John 3:16, and seeing people get saved, and souls getting saved and turned towards Christ. And number two, the love for the SEC, specifically LSU football. So I have LSU merch on there. I have all 16 SEC teams on my website. So if you're not an LSU fan, that's great. If you're a Texas fan, Texas A&M fan, Alabama fan, I have all SEC teams on that website. Go check it out. It's called SEC 316. The links are in my bio. And all money goes not towards me. All money and proceeds, every penny, every sale equals a soul. What does that mean? Every penny from a sale, when y'all buy products, does not go to me. It goes directly back to ministries to see the lost get saved. Because at the end of the day, we're here as Christians to let our lights shine. All right, guys. Well, I'll have an episode here soon, and we're going to go through all the recruiting for early signing period and etc. What a day it's been, but I'm so excited, and I believe I share that same sentiment with my other LSU fans. And all I got to say is, go Tigers.